Good morning. Today I'm going to talk about Todd White, and one of the foundational things that he talks about is that I'm so free from me that I'm free from you. Now I'm able to love you unconditionally. And that comes from a place of submission of life. And that's what I've experienced in the past 6.5 years. I got to the point of just saying, I'm going to trust you, God, with my life fully. And out of that, experiencing the love of God, understanding that love, and then being free from that anything self-centeredness. Because at the root of all sin is self and self-centeredness. So as we die to ourselves, we become free of that. Then we're able to love unconditionally instead of conditionally. Then we're able to celebrate other people's successes because the self-centeredness is not in competition with that person. So that's where the freedom comes from. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then and do not commit again to a yoke of slavery. So there's beauty in that. There's freedom in that. But you have to come to the end of that self-will and that self-life, that submission of that, instead of compartmentalizing our faith. And, it's not about church attendance. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about submitting your life to God, because you can go to church on Sunday yet hold back your life. It's about that relationship we have with God as we say, you know what, God, I'm going to trust you. I know that you're loving, and your desire for me is to have the absolute best life. And the law is there to show us that, but we don't want to submit our lives because we want to hold on to that self-life. But the greatest joy in our life can come from a place of submission to God and trusting Him. And yet we go down all these different paths and search for fulfillment and meaning in all different areas, instead of just coming to the end and saying, God, help me. I need you, and I'm going to trust you with my life. And when I came to that point, I wasn't in a church service. I was riddled by addiction for 3 years and was looking at the mirror, and I just couldn't stand who I saw anymore. And I just said, you know what, God, help me. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to pursue you. I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm going to go all in instead of just putting my foot in. And that's where we find freedom in trusting God. We were created to worship Him, not ourselves. And yet that's where we are. We're in that place of trying to glorify ourselves by what we do or what we have or all these different things, but it doesn't satisfy. Only we were created not for ourselves, we were created for Him. And when we come back to that place, we experience peace, joy, contentment, self-control. All the fruits of the Spirit are who we are, and that's where true freedom comes in. Then we're able to love our enemies. You can't do that in being in a posture of self-centeredness. But as we die to self, we become free of self, and then we're able to love unconditionally. I pray that you could love unconditionally and find that freedom and that peace that comes from God as we submit to Him. God bless y'all.